that kind of interview. And everyone has to hit got it on their screen or you'll get kicked out. Darn Zoom and their lawyers. All right, so I am gonna kick it off. Thanks for the intro, Heather. So quick disclaimer, this is like every presentation we give. This is meant to be informational. We don't give legal or tax advice. Your interpretation of my communication may not always be accurate. So if you have questions, definitely ask them. But this is just our quick little disclaimer. Again, love those lawyers. So real quick, who are we? I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna, obviously, some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm a co-founder of BlueLion. We are a human resource consulting company. Our purpose is to support businesses. We specialize in blue collar companies. However, we do help all different types of businesses. We are real people with real personality. I will say this picture is of my team 13 months ago. Last Friday, we actually went and had a new team picture taken. So I'm waiting to get them back. We now have 12 of us on the team. So that 5 has gone to 12 in the last year. Super excited about it. We are a Pledge 1 company. We're going to talk about that actually in my presentation today, so I'm not going to touch on that too much. One of the things that sets us aside from some of our competition is we only provide what our clients need. We never oversell or try and push services they don't need. Teeny bit about me. I am the co-founder, as I mentioned. I do have a master's degree. I am certified in SHRM. I have my SHRM SCP. So I do kind of know what I'm talking about. Also have several years of experience. A little bit about me personally. I do love hiking and snowmobiling. I have a second home in upstate Maine, and I can't wait this weekend. I think we're going to go snowmobiling. But I love outdoors. I do have a dog named Kona who is home with me now. So if he does start barking, I apologize in advance. He usually is quiet, except for when I get on a meeting, then he likes to chime in. So I've kind of broken this presentation down into several sections. We're going to go quickly through some of them. If I get to somewhere and you're like, I don't even understand what she's talking about, please interact. Please be participatory, make sure you're, chiming in. This is all for you guys to gain more knowledge. And sometimes when you live in this world, you say stuff and you forget that not everyone understands the same, short code that you necessarily do. So in our environment today, in the workspace, out in the world, what's kind of considered standard? So today we're going to be talking about unique benefits, but I thought it'd be good to start off with, okay, we're talking about what's unique, but what's really standard at this point? This is not saying that every company has to offer these. There are several companies out there that don't yet offer all of these benefits. But if you were to be out looking, these are considered standard benefits. So health insurance, vision, dental insurance, paid holidays, paid vacation. That's pretty out of the box. The other one I forgot to add on here is your 401ks. Those are becoming more standard. It's more of if I'm getting a job that's considered a career, I'm going to be here long term. Those are things that are considered pretty standard. Also, supplemental insurance, we're finding to become pretty standard. Life insurance, hospital insurance, accident insurance, short-term disability, long-term disability usually falls under here. Throughout the presentation today, you are going to see resource information. I will make sure Heather gets a copy of the slide deck and sends it out. So don't feel like you have to start scribbling down a bunch of notes. You'll get the entire presentation. Through here, we have plugged in some of our resources, some people that we found beneficial. Some of the information we have, we just researched and found. So as we get through the presentation, some companies I don't have personal experience with, but when I'm giving an example, I wanted to make sure you had somewhere to go if you thought that was a great benefit. But again, these supplemental insurances are becoming pretty standard across the board. Aflac is a good carrier. A lot of our clients use Aflac for these type of benefits. Some companies are also paying for some of these benefits, like short-term disability and long-term disability. It's becoming a company paid benefit where the employee is not even contributing to those any longer. And then the last that's really becoming standard is the employee assistance program. This one took a real tick up in the last, I'd say, 5 years. A lot of it has to do with substance abuse and mental health. So substance abuse, we know in New Hampshire has been a problem for several years, but probably in the last 5, it's been super heightened. In the last 3 years with the pandemic, mental health has become even more heightened than it was prior. Employee assistance programs can help your staff with those type of things. So it's anonymous. You pay for the service for your employees to have the ability to call and get help. Now, it's not just about, substance abuse and mental health. It could also be, I think it's time to put my mom in a nursing home and I don't even know where to start. Call the employee assistance program. They have someone on staff that can help direct you in the right direction on where to go for that. Sometimes this is actually a covered free benefit with short-term disability and long-term disability providers. So if you're already offering those benefits, you'd want to reach out to that carrier and see. So I have one client, they have Mutual of Omaha, short-term, long-term, and life insurance through Mutual of Omaha. They get an EAP program with that. So it's included in those benefits they're already paying for. So it's not an additional cost, but you do want to make sure if you have this benefit, it's something you're communicating to your staff. So that kind of wraps up your standards. So that's kind of, just to lay the groundwork. These are benefits that are pretty typical and standard. We're not including them in your unique portion, but I didn't want to leave it out and not talk about them at all. So culture, huge buzzword. Everybody wants a great culture. Over 40% of our work staff is currently millennials or younger. They want culture. They want to feel purpose. They want to work for a company with a purpose. They want a cause. They want someone that has, a reason to get out of bed in the morning. They don't want a job any longer. How you're putting together your benefit package often speaks to your culture. And you can really kind of portray that message to prospective employees through what you're offering as benefits and what you're talking about during that recruitment process. And so just what message are you sending as a company? Like, what's the message you want to be putting out there to prospective employees? What kind of company are you to work for? Here are some things that are now trending. So I'm going to go through a couple things and then we're going to go through a lot of crazy unique benefits. But these are now trending. They are, somewhat unique, but again, they're becoming more common, not as common as your standard benefits. Paid parental leave. So this could be maternity leave, but also we're seeing a lot of paternity leave. So we're seeing paid leave for a father. Typically it's 2 weeks post-delivery. Some companies are also offering that paid maternity leave and then paid paternity leave. Also, that can extend into if someone were to adopt a child, then getting that paid parental leave after the adoption, immediately following the adoption of a child. Volunteer time off has been really trending the last, I'd say 5 to 10 years. This one's been trending. And this is providing your staff paid time off to go volunteer. Typically with this benefit, it would be to volunteer somewhere that's meaningful to them. Some companies just have a volunteer day where they shut down their operation and everyone at the company goes to one place and they all volunteer. That obviously you're still paying your staff to do that. That usually doesn't fall under volunteer time off because that's more of a culture, team bonding, team building. Volunteer time off, for example, my staff, they get 1 day a year. They just tell us what they're doing and we pay them to go and do whatever they want to do. So I have one employee, she volunteers at the SPCA. I have several of my staff works with Make-A-Wish New Hampshire, so they'll go volunteer at an event, passing out flyers or, selling raffle tickets and stuff like that. But we pay our staff to go give back to the community. Tuition reimbursement. This is very popular in the trades. It's also very popular when you're looking at nursing and those type of professions where they're really trying to recruit hard. This is becoming something that companies are using in their recruiting process. It's that flashing item like, hey, I'm going to pay for you to keep going to school. We're also seeing companies, because it's so competitive out there, that are offering to pay prior debt. So not only would I pay if you want to keep going to school, but I'm actually going to help you pay those student loans. So they're getting very creative. Again, it's all marketing on how to get employees to come work for you. Bereavement leave. This is pretty standard, but more companies are starting to talk about it and get creative with it. So bereavement leave would be if someone were to pass away, you'd allow your employees time to grieve, but it would be paid. Standard benefits on this, if it's an immediate family, it would usually be 3 days paid. Extended family, aunt, cousin, it would usually be 1 day paid. Keep in mind when I say leave, that's not the amount of time they're given, it's the amount of time your company is paying for them to be out. So you may give them a week off, but you would pay for 3 days. Creative one that we've seen recently, and there was actually an article, one of our clients brought this to our attention, which I thought was amazing. We actually just implemented it in my company, pregnancy loss leave. If you were to have an employee that would unfortunately have a pregnancy that terminated, providing a paid leave for them to process that. And I think there's actually an article on our social media. So if you're interested in that one, definitely go check it out. Not claiming that as our idea. We definitely stole that from a client. She, unfortunately, after recently starting her job, had this experience herself. And she felt like because she just started a job, she had to be there the next day. And it was a lot for her. So when she got up in the company high enough, she made sure that no other woman would ever have to deal with that. And they would have the time to grieve that loss. Flex scheduling. I say this is now trending. This is like now normal. So flex scheduling and telecommuting with COVID has definitely skyrocketed. Fortunately, unfortunately, depends on what side you're on the fence. I don't think this is going away. So because so many companies have been able to adapt and accommodate to everyone working remotely, it's now become an expectation of our workforce. Our workforce now goes into work expecting, or goes into an interview expecting the ability to work from home at least partially. So it may only be 2 days a week, but when they're interviewing, if it's not on the table, they're usually not interested. And a lot of that comes from the fact that during COVID, so many people had the benefits of working from home. Flex scheduling is also some professions and some companies out there. If you're not client facing, you no longer have to have this stringent schedule that everyone works 8 to 5. I need everyone here 8 to 5. Okay, well, we're not client facing. I do my own work. I don't have to be here 8 to 5. I could work 9 to 6, or maybe it's better for me to work 10 to 7, or maybe I want to work 5 in the morning till 2. When we see companies implementing a flex scheduling, usually what they have is core hours. So it is communicated that everyone has to be here between 10 and 2. Other than that, you can dictate what the rest of your hours are. The reason for that is between 10 and 2, everyone is in the building. So if you need to have a meeting, or you need to talk to somebody, or you need to do communication, everyone's there for that period. But flex scheduling is definitely becoming more popular as people are realizing, you know, rewind 20 years ago, it was 9 to 5. Everyone worked 9 to 5, 8 to 4, everyone in the company. And you have, you know, your IT guy that sits in a closet with himself and all of his computers all day. He doesn't engage with anybody. Why does he need to be here 9 to 5? Now he needs to be here if I have a problem, but does he need to be here 9 to 5? Does it matter if he works 10 to 7? Not really. This improves your retention and your employee morale as well. So now we're going to get into kind of the unique, crazy benefits. Due to timing, I'm going to go semi-fast through some of them, but if you, again, have questions about them, definitely stop me. Any questions so far? Great. All right, so pledge 1%. So talking about culture, sometimes benefits aren't necessarily something you're giving to your staff directly, but it's also something you're doing as an organization that helps you be marketable for that culture. This is one of those culture things. My company is a pledge 1% company. We have been since day one. So what 1% is you're pledging to either give 1% of your equity, 1% of your time, 1% of your product, or 1% of your profit to your community. You don't have to do all 4. You can just pick one. My company, we do time, product, and profit. So we do 3 of them. Again, this is now something that I can put on my social media. We talk about it. I talk about it in my sales meetings. We talk about it when we're onboarding our staff. This has to do with our volunteer time off. That goes towards us giving 1% of our time. All of my staff is required to do that. So it's more than just a nice thing to do. Definitely be creative if you're implementing something like that. And the website there is where you go to pledge that. There are other organizations out there that have this kind of mantra. So pledge 1% is not the only one. there are big companies that do this. We actually got this idea, our company did, from Salesforce, which is a pretty large CRM company. Thanks. Thanks is a corporate gift giving platform. You can send gifts to your clients, your colleague, maybe a prospective employee. It's a way to send thanks and have them feel appreciative, but it's like a coupon. So you could buy someone a coffee. Companies are using this as ongoing. It's not like a guarantee. Everyone's going to get a thanks once a month. It's more of a, I want to do something nice. Like, hey, you know, Robin, you really killed that presentation last week. Here's a thanks. Go grab a coffee on me on your way into work. It's the little things like this that are making employees care about where they work. Culture, all going back to culture. And that's, again, there's a link there for that particular company. More culture stuff. No meeting days. We have a few clients that have implemented this with great success. No meeting days are a way to encourage productivity and cut out the meeting. You know, how many of us have gone into work one day and we're like, I got absolutely nothing done today because I had 6, this was me yesterday. I had 7 back-to-back Zooms. If my voice sounds like it's going, it's because I've been talking for 48 hours. But no meeting days. Like, imagine if your employer was like, and the entire company, you are not allowed to meet with anyone internally or externally on Fridays. All you're doing on Fridays is your own work. I would be like, hallelujah. I get a whole day all to myself to do my to-dos. Love it. In 2019, a survey from Workfront says that US workers spend only 40% of their workday on their primary tasks. So your actual primary job that I'm paying you to do, less than half of your time is actually being spent on it. Now think about this with meetings. I'm prepping to go to a meeting. I'm spending way more time in a meeting than I should have because that meeting should have been an email. And then I'm, you know, half hour until I actually get back into my day when I get back to my office because I'm cleaning up some other things. So no meeting days are a new way that companies are kind of giving that. Again, it's a benefit. You're setting that culture, you're setting that tone. Workplace wellness. So Susan, I think you were talking about this too. This is kind of your background. So offering wellness workshops in your workspace, sometimes they're paid for, sometimes they're not. Some different types of ideas of wellness in the workplace, chair massages. I have a fabulous masseuse if anyone's looking for chair massages, but bringing in a massage therapist to just everyone gets 15 minutes in the chair and they just sit there. I have a CPA that actually is doing this during tax season. Every single Saturday that they're working during tax season, there's a massage therapist that's going to be on property, rotating through the staff, giving massages. So it's just a great way to be like, hey, I know it stinks. You know it stinks. We all know it's that time of year. We got to do what we got to do, but we want you to know we appreciate the fact you're coming in on Saturdays. In-office chiropractor care. I actually have a client that every month they have a chiropractor come to their office. The chiropractor does visits for anyone in the office that participates with them. So it's kind of like still getting billed through insurance, all of that, but you're allowing that ability for your employees to not have to stress about when am I going to get to my chiropractor? Like, what do I have time to leave work, travel to my chiropractor, travel back? You know, it's a whole lunch break. I don't like it. Yoga, in-office yoga classes. You can either have it during work hours or maybe you have it during lunch on Fridays. It's Friday yogas. And, you know, up in the conference room, we throw it on and they do an in-class yoga and everyone can go. Gym reimbursement. A lot of insurance companies offer a gym reimbursement, but some companies, my company, for example, we don't have health insurance. Most of my staff, if not all of it, is on somebody else's insurance, so we don't have a need for it. But I could offer a gym reimbursement. I could say, you know what, we're going to pay $20 a month, go to whatever gym you want. And again, it's all about that wellness, the well-rounded. These benefits definitely help with your employee productivity. So it is statistically proven that having all of these things in your life, chiropractic care, massage therapy, going to the gym, doing yoga, this is going to make your employee a better employee. So investing in these benefits, they're going to love it because it's great. Who doesn't want a free yoga class? But also it's going to make them a better employee. So it's a win-win on that side. One of the wellness things that we found extremely beneficial for a lot of our clients, and I've personally participated with, is called Nutrition in Motion. Nutrition in Motion is a local company. They're actually local to Bedford. Contact information is at the bottom. They do either virtual or in-person sessions. It's like a working lunch session, lunch and learns. They're a series, and it teaches your staff how to be better eaters, how to be better, with what they're consuming, knowing how to read a label on the back of a package. It is a multi-week program. They do get one-on-one sessions with a registered dietitian. In one of the companies we implemented this with, they actually had an employee through the course of this, I think it's an 8-week program, 6 or 8-week program, go off their diabetic medication. So they were, I think it's type 2 diabetes. And through this program and through learning better habits and actually understanding what they were putting into their body and how to be a better eater, they were able to reduce their medication, which as a larger company, obviously your, healthcare costs your healthcare claims do affect the cost of your insurance. So it's always good to be implementing these type of benefits. Will preparation services. So this is another unique one, not something that you would commonly hear out there. How many people have a will already created or an estate? I'm raising my hand, but I don't. Most people in the workforce don't have this. It's not something you necessarily think of. It's not common language. It's not something everyone's sitting around, at the bar and like, hey, did you get your will done this year? Do you update it? But it's very important. These type of benefits and, having the ability as a company to say, we know this is important. We know it's one of those, life things that people don't do because they tend not to have the time. But we're going to help you. We're going to connect. Like we have this resource, this person that does it, and maybe you pay for half of the service. Maybe you don't even pay for the service. You just give the opportunity. So sometimes your benefit package is not necessarily something you're paying for. So I may not pay for my staff to get a will preparation service, but instead what I might do is invite somebody in like Megan Martucci, and maybe we do a lunch and learn session and she goes over for a half hour with my staff. I'm paying them to sit there, why it's important and how they get started. And then at the end, people can sign up to do a one-on-one session with her. And so I'm kind of just lighting the fire. I'm igniting the fire to get them to do, and giving them the opportunity. So sometimes it's also about opportunity. Most the vendors that I have throughout this, like Megan Martucci, they will come and do those sessions for free. So really reaching out to your resources and who you can get to come in and educate your team. Because again, it's all about education. It's about making sure that they feel like you care. If I'm putting in money and time to bring in someone to educate my team, I care about my team. I care about the things in their life that they're not able to do because they're dedicating so much time to work. CPR training, Life Safety Institute is the resource we found for this. So you can have somebody come in and train your staff on CPR. Now, if you own a rec center, let's say I'm the YMCA, my staff's probably all trained on this. It's probably part of our onboarding that you get CPR certified. I work in an office. Most likely we're not getting CPR certified. Now, let's all hope and pray that we never need it at work. But this, again, is one of those things to say, you know what, my company cares enough about me as a person and my life as a human that they think it's important that we get certified. And I got CPR training. So now throughout my life, should anything ever happen, I know how to properly give CPR. These are also great benefits because a lot of times it's the price for the guide, the person to come to do the training. It's not a per person. So you could have 30 people doing it at the same time and it's not, racking up a lot of charges. Oh, this is one of my new favorites. I like food. Healthy office snacking. So when you think of Google, when I think of Google and working at Google, the first thing I think of is they are self-sustaining, and I'm talking about being out in California. They have a self-sustaining campus and their food is free. You can eat whatever you want if you work at Google. I only want to work at Google because you get a massage on your birthday and you get to eat for free. These are all cool, healthy snacking options that if you want to have and provide snacking at your office, so you're just allowing employees to grab a snack. Hey, you're hungry, you're hitting your 2 o'clock crash. Let me give you a healthy snacking option so that you're not, you know, eating the bag of chips or you're not running out to the store because you can't make it through the day. A lot of companies are starting to offer some type of snacking or some type of refreshment. Super cool too. I'm, you know, recruiting new staff. We talk about, oh yeah, we have a, you know, this is the lunchroom. I'm walking you around. Here's our lunchroom. There's our snacking. It's replenished every Wednesday. They're like, wait, you guys give us snacks? Yeah, I give you snacks. You're like a toddler. It's fine. You need snacks. Employees are like toddlers. So these are just some resources there for your healthy snacking options. Home cleaning service. So some of the benefits we're getting into now really depend on the size of your company. Obviously, there are companies out there that some of these benefits just are not feasible financially, but depending on how large your company is, some of these are great. Home cleaning services. So the national average cost for house cleaning is $40 to $65 an hour. I'm skipping around here. There we go. You know, with this benefit and the next couple, and some of the other ones we've already looked at, a lot of what we're talking about is the work-life balance. How many people have said, either to themselves or when recruiting or to their staff, we want our staff to have a good work-life balance. What does that mean? There's a lot of things in your life that don't get done because of your work. House cleaning is one of them. So I work 45 hours a week. I have 2 days at home. The last thing I want to do is spend 5 hours cleaning my house. Wouldn't it be fabulous if your company provided in-home cleaning of your home once a month? So, or once a year, or maybe it's upon anniversary. Like, hey, you get to have your house cleaned. We love you. We want you to enjoy your weekend, or maybe it's a birthday thing. But providing that in-home home cleaning so that when I'm not working, I'm not having to do all the adult things like dry cleaning. Dry cleaning is more popular than the in-home cleaning. Dry cleaning, I have a lot of clients that will find, so let's say my office is located in Manchester, they'll find a local dry cleaner to Manchester and they'll create some type of agreement that they'll give my employees a discount. My employees are still going to pay for it, but they're going to pick up and drop off from our office. So let's say I'm one of those huge buildings downtown Manchester. I've got 200 employees and they're all trying to go and do their own dry cleaning on their own time. Wouldn't it be fabulous if we had Wednesday morning, everyone brings in their dry cleaning and it gets dropped back off Thursday morning and it's all clean? I don't really know how dry cleaning works. I don't dry clean, but those type of services are fantastic. And it could be that you pay for it. It could be that you don't. Again, it's the convenience. So the benefit's not me paying for your dry cleaning. The benefit is me facilitating an agreement with some local dry cleaner to give you a discount because you work for me, and they're going to pick up and drop off at the office. So you don't have to take your lunch break to go get it. You don't have to remember when you leave work today on the way home that you got to get the dry cleaning. That's 20 more minutes out of your personal time that I'm saving. I wish I had this next one. Pet insurance. How many have pets? Pets are expensive. Yes. Pet insurance. A lot of companies offer pet insurance, and it just kind of usually gets pushed to the side. But I will say more and more millennials are choosing to have pets instead of children. So pet insurance, I think, is becoming more popular for that as well. Lisa Stedman's a great resource for that. There's a lot of carriers out there, but pet insurance is definitely something to offer. Again, this is one you're offering, most companies aren't paying for. So you're not contributing to the pet insurance, but you're giving your staff the ability to get pet insurance and helping them coordinate with a carrier. Food and grocery delivery service saves employees time. According to Time Use Institute, each food shopping trip takes about 41 minutes. And the trips per week average 1.5. I probably go to the grocery store way more than everybody else. I probably go 5 times a week, and they're usually at least 41 minutes. I mean, at Market Basket, I think it takes 40 minutes just to check out. During COVID, it also, this type of benefit added a level of comfort so that your employees didn't feel like they had to go to the grocery store. Also, Remember, we're providing them a benefit of the convenience of not going to the grocery store because we're going to pay for their food to be delivered. It also reduces the exposure. So in the height of COVID, I didn't want my staff going to the grocery store. I wanted them to have food delivery. Some resources are Instacart, Amazon Fresh. So it might be that you just pay for the delivery fees. So you give everyone a gift card for delivery fees for getting their groceries delivered. Mobile auto service. I'm not going to lie, my car was due for inspection in January and I haven't done it yet because that's part of the life balance that is not currently balanced with work. My life has not found time to go and register or inspect my car. It's registered, not inspected. So using mobile auto services, there are great resources of auto body shops out there and mechanics that will work with companies to help facilitate this. One on here is Bob & Sons Automotive and Extra Care. I know for a fact Bob & Sons will come to your work, pick up your car. They leave another one of theirs there. They'll take your car if you're in the Manchester area. They'll go do the oil change, the inspection, whatever needs to be done, and then they'll come drop your car back off at work. So while I'm working, all this stuff is happening and I never even had to do anything. Getting relationships with companies like that and then announcing it to your staff. Hey, staff, we have an agreement with Bob & Sons. If you do your work through them, they'll do it while you're working and they'll facilitate all of the fancy things. I didn't have to pay for this. It's just the relationship that you establish with these vendors. And then it gives your employees the opportunity to have A, great service, and B, again, the life is getting taken care of. So when you're in that work-life balance, you're getting the crap in life done during the work hours without having it to actually take away from your work hours. So when you have your lifetime can be spent hanging out with your family, doing fun things like snowmobiling, and not having to go to the grocery store, go get my dry cleaning, go get my oil changed or my car inspected. So these are all different kind of benefits that we're pulling those into the workday without losing the productivity. Also, all of these things we're talking about are added stress. So you have all these other things pulling on you that while you're at work, you're like, oh, I can't forget to do that, or I forgot to inspect my car. I got to remember to get the dry cleaning. My brain's everywhere else but working. It's not focused. So this helps you with retention and focus as well. One I really love, because I love to travel, is a travel planner. So if you have a staff, you provide vacation, you want your employees to be able to unplug. A lot of people don't realize travel planners you don't usually pay someone to plan your travel. They get paid by the resorts and whoever they're coordinating with. So this is often, again, a free thing that you as an employer can offer. And another great idea for a lunch and learn, have a travel planner come in, give a half-hour session during lunch one day and tell everybody about all the fabulous things that they can do for them. And then when they have their next vacation, they can use the travel planner. So again, my life requirements of planning a vacation is not fun. Going on vacation is fun. If I can outsource the planning of the vacation to a travel planner, then I can just enjoy the vacation. So these are, again, another great non-cost benefit you could add by connecting. Some resources and some benefits to your employers are just a matter of connecting them to the right people. Same with the next one, a mortgage specialist. So you may not, again, I'm not paying for any of your mortgage, but you're having struggles and, employees commonly have stress and struggles when it comes to finances. And a lot of it is just about the lack of knowledge and ability to manage their money. One of the things that can help with that is having a good mortgage, or maybe they're trying to buy their first house and they don't even know what they're going to need, or maybe it's time to refinance and they're not sure where to start. So bringing in a mortgage specialist, and again, having that lunch and learn, or having them just talk to the staff about all the, who, what, when, where, why, will help reduce that stress. So you're also, sometimes I think of being an employer as being a parent. We're trying to help them do the things in their life that are causing them to be distracted while at work. Having to refi a mortgage, having to have the concerns about whether I can or can't buy a house, or what am I going to do. If I'm bringing in a mortgage specialist to talk to all of my staff for a half hour, and then they can set up one-to-ones, then I'm allowing them to remove that stress. Now, usually those one-to-ones we're talking about after, are after hours. So it does go back into the life portion of the balance, but we're at least helping initiate the conversation. So it's not just something else on their to-do list. And then finally, the last thing is local business discounts. So connecting with local business to wherever you're located and seeing what they have for discounts, or even, so one of my clients did this. A local high school was doing one of their fundraisers, and they had those coupon books, and they were like 20 bucks a piece. The company bought one for every one of their staff. So they gave to the charity of the high school, and then every one of their employees got the coupon book. So it was cool because as an employee, I got this cool coupon book and I didn't have to pay for it. But also connecting with other local restaurants or coffee shops or anything about getting discounts. A lot of the other benefits we talked about, you know, maybe connecting with the Bob and Sons or places like that and seeing what type of arrangement. Gyms. One of my clients connected with a local gym. They wanted to do gym reimbursement or pay for gym, but they wanted to have a discount. So they made an agreement with a local gym. Anyone that worked at this company that worked out here, the company would pay for, but they also got a discount on it. So instead of $20 a month, it was $15 a month or something like that. Restaurants also, if you're, you know, let's say you're in a building and you're like, hey, can my staff have a 10% discount at your restaurant? They're going to be more likely to come to you for lunch. You know, we're just down the street. And if you give me some flyers, I'll put them out in our break room. The restaurant may be like, yeah, if you're, you know, McLean Middleton downtown and you have 250 employees in that big building, yes, I want you all coming to eat at my restaurant. There's 86 restaurants on Elm Street. Pick me. And it never hurts to ask. The other thing is ski resorts or fun things like that. Depending on the size of your company, obviously depends on your ability to get these type of discounts. But even, you know, maybe if you're a larger company going to like Loon and saying, hey, you know, I'd like to offer my staff reduced lift tickets. What can you do for me? Canopy Lake is a great one. I know they do a lot of corporate discounts. So if you pre-purchase tickets for your staff or you do it as a group, they'll usually give discounted purchasing like that. So really just to recap, besides offering these presented benefits, employers can also offer flex benefit purchases where you offer employees an assortment of benefits and then they get to kind of pick what they're doing. So some clients are doing that where I say, okay, here's a whole bunch of 90 things. I'm going to give you $400. Go spend it on what you want to spend it on. Do you want to put it towards pet insurance? You want health insurance? You want to do vision? You want to do dental? Kind of wherever you are. And then definitely research additional resources for the listed benefits in your local area to make sure you are supporting local. Obviously, we're in the Manchester Chamber. Most of everyone that you saw on this slide deck was in Manchester locations. But definitely make sure you're looking local to support your local. They're more apt to give you, to work with you as a company. And also it goes back to culture. So part of your culture, you want to support your local. I'm hoping you want to support your local community. And you can do that by reaching out to those particular people. That's what I have for a presentation. What questions does anyone have? Thank you. Thank you. What do we have for questions or comments? Or did I not cover some benefit you thought I was and you'd like my opinion on it? I have lots of opinions.
I just popped one when you said, you know, auto service and you talked about your inspection. I know one that I've seen in the past is an auto detailer that comes in once a month or twice a month is another one that I've seen companies like, hey, you know, it's crappy and salty out and cars are disgusting and we have to brush up against each other's car just getting it out of the parking lot. So when you have those buildings that have those 250 people, majority of them are going to drive to work. If there's an area, you know, that they can do, hey, sign up, and you basically, it's a sign up. Hey, I'm coming in. It's not company paid for. And like you said, it's company provided. It's, you know, you get 15 minutes to drop off and pick up your car, right?
Yeah, it's the opportunity.
You don't have to stop and wait and sit in line on the way home in the car wash. It's, you know, something else that can be done during work hours, like you talked about the dry cleaning and the other things.
Yep.
That's another one you might want to add to the list.
Yep, great one.
Along those same lines, I thought of one, Alison, when you had the mortgage specialist idea. One company, it's been several years ago now, but I thought it was such a great idea. It was a small company. they were technicians out in the field doing, outdoor kind of work. And she had a financial planner, I think it was, but basically somebody to help them with their financial expertise and learning more. And, definitely along those same lines that you had indicated. I thought your list was great. Just a lot of good ideas, and also very supportive of the individual, their whole person, right? Helping them do all that they need to do to get through.
Life
Yeah.
Yep. And nice. So with the financial side of it, definitely financial wellness workshops are a huge hit. Usually you can tag onto your financial, your 401k provider. So typically who you're using for 401k will come in and do those for free, those financial wellness workshops. And they'll oftentimes then do the one-on-one sessions. So people can sign up for those one-on-ones. Right. Definitely a good one though, to add.
Nice.
Yeah, when I worked in corporate, it was almost like once a month there was some sort of different workshop, and a lot of times, like you talked about Fridays being no meeting days, there were optional things like, hey, here's another benefit that's being provided. Plan on the first Friday is this category, the second Friday is this category, the third Friday is this category, the fourth Friday is this category. And we had a mortgage person who would come in, we had a financial person who would come in, we had a volunteer specialist who would come in and say, hey, here's all the opportunities that we know of. Use your benefit. If you have and you're offering that volunteerism benefit, here's some things that are already being, there's people from the company that are doing this, and it creates that community within that culture at the company.
Yeah. And even if you're not offering volunteer benefits, it's still good to have somebody come in and talk about where to volunteer. I can't tell you how many people in my personal and professional life I talk to that want to volunteer. They just don't even know where to start. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to start. I keep on yelling at my mother-in-law. I'm like, you need to go. She's retired. I'm like, you need to find a hobby because you shop too much. I'm like, you need to go what about visiting angel? I'm like, you could be a shopper for all these other people that can't shop. But she has nowhere to start. So it's even if you're not doing volunteer time off, having that volunteer person come in is a great one.
Yeah. Caregiver Alison, for your mother-in-law. I don't know if is she local at all?
Yeah, Hudson.
Okay. I mean, Caregivers is a wonderful organization that has lots of different short-term things that she can offer. Meals on Wheels. There's churches. There's a bunch of places.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Something that this last exchange just made me think of a time that I was talking to a friend of mine, and she works for an employer who is so strong in this area and does provide the paid volunteer time. So I asked her, where do you volunteer? Because I knew she got paid to do so. And she's like, oh, I don't have time to do that. So she felt like the company was great to provide it, but there was, and they definitely would help her find the time to do it, but she felt like she couldn't. So she hadn't pursued that benefit on her own. So I think one thing for an employer to be mindful of is to really dig in and make sure the employees understand how they can take advantage of these things that they're offering too.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have one employee, we have something similar to Thanks. It's Snappy. And we'll send Snappies, and she will go in and she always finds how to donate her amount. So we'll send them like, you can go pick out your own gift for $50. She'll go and find the one where she gives the $50 to a nonprofit. She's like, nice. I'm like, will you just take the gift, please? Same thing. She runs her own nonprofit. So with the volunteer time, she's like, I don't need that, but she loves that we offer it, but she never takes it. And so I said to my partner, I go, can you just pay her out her volunteer time? Like, she runs a nonprofit, like she volunteers.
Right.
But yes, it's making sure they understand that it's not just a benefit we're offering. We actually want people to take them, using them and educating them on how to. Great. Yeah. Any other questions?
Alison, I wonder if you ever do any other workshops or talks about that, kind of piggybacking on what Robin said, because it's one thing to have the benefits on paper and it's another to really propagate them and, kind of make your culture align with those benefits.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I threw that culture slide in there, because you're 100% right. having benefits on paper is nothing. You actually have to make them part of your culture, which, like Krista mentioned, that one office she worked in, it was part of their culture. Every Friday there was something going on. So they were constantly talking about it. It was constantly available. And that's really, we always tell our clients, and we try to, when working with clients, is making sure they're talking about benefits all year, even if it's health insurance. Even if you're just in the beginning stages of benefits and you're back in those standard benefits, you still should be talking about them. Talking about the gym reimbursement from your healthcare. You should be talking about, hey, don't forget you have a flexible spending account. Don't forget to spend it. Here's how you can spend it. Hey, has everybody logged into their 401k? Don't forget to update your beneficiary. But having that be part of your conversation, and even maybe sending a monthly email about what's going on with benefits. Even if nothing changes, just some reminders of don't forget this is here and don't forget you have that. And definitely, like you said, culture, making it part of who you are as a company.
Yeah, it really makes, like you said,
the communication is so important to let people know. I just signed on with the company to do a lunch and learn for health and self-care for them. And that will be sent out to their 250 employees. And, maybe 30 will sign on, but at least they all know about it.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I think it's particularly difficult for small businesses because they're often wearing the HR hat as well as, CEO and operations, and maybe aren't an expert in the benefits.
Yes.
And it just, for lack of comfortability and knowledge, also they don't really delve in. And
I definitely encourage people always to use their resources that they're paying for. So most people, when they have benefits, they have an insurance broker. Rely on them. When you have a 401k, pull that financial person in and ask them about what they do for wellness workshops. The resources you already have, you don't have to go recreate the wheel. Where you may not be an expert, you can rely on the people that are experts. And oftentimes they provide those services free. You just have to ask for them.
Yep.
And you can simply ask and say, what other services are part of this? Because they may not have it on paper. It may be that mortgage specialist who has a financial person who can bring them in if you don't have a 401k, or vice versa, right? The financial person has a mortgage person that they work really closely with, and you can bring them in as kind of a package deal and really educate people on how they work together.
Yeah. And most of those companies that we mentioned, they'll come in and do those things for free.
Yep.
Because they're going to gain the one-on-ones and hopefully traction.
Awesome.
Thank
you so much, Alison. Always a wealth of knowledge and energy, which makes it much more fun. But I want to thank you for your time and your expertise, and also let people know that Alison will be back next month. So stay tuned for her next topic, which I don't think we actually pinned down which one it will be, but it will be in your e-news and open for registration. So I expect that Cole will send a follow-up out to you all with that new registration link once we have that page live, and with all of Alison's contact information, which I know a lot of you have, and is also very conveniently displayed right on her slide. So,
and I also will send the slide deck to Cole so he can send that in the follow-up.
Right. Yes. Thank you for doing that. That's so helpful. So have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all again soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Alison.
Thank you.
Great information.
Thank you all.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.